get this question a lot. Can you work while you're in nurse practitioner school? Yes, you can work while you're in nurse practitioner school, but you guys want to know, how are you able to be successful in NP school while still maintaining your job, whether it's full-time, part-time, PRN. So I'm going to let you guys know some tips and advice on how to be successful in school while still working. As most of you guys know, I'm in the Women's Health Nurse Practitioner program at Vanderbilt. I'm a part-time student, which means that my program is 2 years versus if I was a full-time student, my program would be 1 year. So I'm a part-time student, and I also work PRN, which means as needed, as a mother-baby nurse. Working PRN as a nurse means, for my hospital, it means that I only have to work 3 shifts a month, which is pretty manageable. I haven't always worked PRN. Before I started my NP program in August of 2018, I was working full-time as a registered nurse on my mother-baby unit, so that meant 3 12-hour shifts a week. I have encountered numerous people who have worked during NP school, whether they work full-time, part-time, or PRN. So it is doable, it is manageable, but you have to keep in mind, once you get to your semesters that require clinical hours, that's where it's going to be very challenging for you. So my friend Simone, who's in my program as well, she's a full-time student, and I want to say she either works full-time or part-time. So I'm going to insert her perspective somewhere in the video. She's in the full-time track of the program, while I did part-time. So full-time, they're taking tons of classes. I know last semester in the fall, they had to take health assessment, pharmacology, our Women's Health NP 1 class, professional formations. And they had to take adult gero primary care. So they had to take 5 classes during the full-time track, and she was working as well. I don't know how she did it, but she did it some sort of way, and she was able to pass the semester. So with me being PRN at my job, sometimes I do my minimum of 3 shifts a month. If I have more time, I'll pick up extra shifts. So I pick up extra shifts during Christmas break, Thanksgiving break, and breaks like that. The challenging part has been, since I have started clinical, trying to schedule my work days, which will primarily have to be on the weekends, unfortunately, because I'll be in clinical Monday through Thursday. So spring and summer semesters, which are my 2 last semesters of my Women's Health NP program, I'll be sticking to just working 3 days per month, just because I need time. On my off days will definitely be spent studying, running errands, self-care, getting my hair done, nails did, and things of that nature, because clinical is going to take up majority of my time Monday through Thursday, and at this point I can't afford to pick up extra shifts. So I'm just going to stick to working 3 shifts a month. I feel like if you have to work, you need to figure out whether you can manage working as a full-time student or a part-time student, which looks completely different at different universities. I personally, when I had to decide whether I wanted to be a full-time, I originally was a full-time student at Vanderbilt, but I want to say a month before I started the program, I was like, hey, I need to go down to being a part-time student. Being a full-time student, the coursework looks too rigorous, and I still want to be able to work. I felt like I wouldn't have been able to be a full-time student and work. I want to say majority of my classmates that are full-time students don't work. Simone is really the only full-time student that I'm aware of that works. We might have a few more that work. A lot of the part-time girls in the program, which is about me and maybe like 10 or 11 other girls, we work. Working, in my opinion, It's definitely more manageable as a part-time student compared to being a full-time student. First things first, regardless, you need a planner. Your planner is going to be a lifesaver. Your planner is how you're going to organize your life, how you're going to time manage. Like, you might be like, oh, that day I have to go to clinical, I can't work that day. Or, oh, that day I have an exam, I can't work that day, can't go to clinical. You need a planner to keep your life on track if you're going to work. So one thing that helped me with my decision of going PRN was the fact that I could get health insurance through Vanderbilt. The health insurance through Vanderbilt is really not the best, in my opinion. I mean, it's good if I was able to go to like Vanderbilt health facilities like the student clinic or, you know, their medical center, but I don't live in Nashville, so I have to use healthcare services here. Did one of my eyelashes fall? So I don't think that their insurance is that good, but hey, I'd rather work PRN than have to work part-time or full-time to get my hospital's insurance. Then also, I'm not married, I don't have any kids, so the only person I have to support is myself. If you want to work during school, it's really all about time management and knowing what you can handle. In my situation, it was good for me to let my managers know, like, hey, I'm starting school, I'm coming back to PRN, just so that they are able to like respect my time. I mean, there have been times where they've asked me, could I come in extra to work, and I'll tell them no, like I have an assignment, or hey, I've had clinicals this day. And I know a lot of people want to still work full-time or part-time because their hospital may be repaying their loans or helping with tuition for NP school. At the end of the day, you have to decide what's best for you. I knew that I didn't want to work full-time while being part-time in my women's health NP program because work is already stressful enough, and then school is stressful, so I don't want to be in too much stress is not a good thing. So I just took the sacrifice. I cut back work hours, and then I decided, you know, before I even started my program, like, hey, I'm just going to sacrifice. I'm going to go to school for 2 years instead of 1 year just for a peace of mind. So just deciding to go part-time as a student, deciding to be part-time as a student, and then working PRN as a registered nurse. With working while in NP school, you definitely have to schedule your work days around your school stuff. That's why it's important for you to have a planner. You do not want to schedule yourself to work and you have an exam the next day. So with me, when I had exams coming up, I would not work that week at all. Like, that would strategically be my study time. I wouldn't go in if they asked me to come in extra because I knew I had to sit in the house and study. I had one exam in my women's health NP, one class last semester, and I want to say I went in extra to help out. It might have been 2 or 3 days before my exam, and I regretted it because the shift, there was just a lot of things going on that day at work. The acuity of the patients, I'll be honest, we were short-staffed that day too, so it was just a lot. And I was like, I left that shift, I want to say I got off late that day because there was just so much stuff going on. I got off probably around 8:30, and I was like, I will never make the mistake of going into work a couple days before my exam because that could have been study time. But nonetheless, I mean, I got paid for it, but I learned in that moment that for me, I cannot work during the weeks of my exams. Only time I was able to study at my job was when I had to float down to the NICU and take care of the grower feeder babies, because pretty much once you feed them, change their diapers, do their assessments, they go back to sleep, and then the NICU is pretty quiet. So I was able to, you know, get some things done whenever I would have to float down to the NICU, but that only happens maybe a few times out the year. In a way, it's like, yes, you know, my job is making me money, my job is putting food on the table, but it's like NP school is going to get me to the level I want to be at. NP school is going to give me the autonomy I want to have. NP school is going to get me to the life that I want to have. So you have to have work and school. You have to have like a work and school balance. Honestly, for the people who work full-time while they're in NP school, I don't know how y'all do it. God bless y'all. You know, I didn't work while I was in nursing school. My parents paid for everything. So working while in NP school, you know, because I'm older now and I have my own household and my own responsibilities, you know, working now is something I have to do. Even if it's PRN, you know, the money that I receive PRN, it does come in handy. Oh yeah, and working as being PRN, I get paid in a higher hourly rate compared to when I was full-time or part-time, because they don't pay for any benefits. So I don't get any medical, dental, or vision insurance or anything like that. So that's why they are able to pay me at a higher hourly wage. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have any tips or advice for others who are in NP school and working, or you had to work while you were in NP school and you were still successful in both work life and school life, please leave them down below. I hope with this video I wasn't rambling. But as always, if you have any questions, leave me comments down below. Email me at prettynurseashley@gmail.com and I will definitely get back to you guys.